Hello and welcome everyone back to another Super Rugby podcast with your host, Damien Warren and
Toby Harris.
Do you notice I said host? Hey, but we've got a massive announcement to make. Huge announcement. We're welcoming someone new or something new to the team.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, a new computer?
No.
Oh.
New car.
Oh, yeah. God, I tell you what. She's an absolute stunner.
Stunner? Could you tell everyone the colour of the car that you've gone for there, Tobes?
It is, I would say it's highlighter green. Hulk green.
Yeah.
Hulk green.
Anyway, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about many, many things. Some of them being who's going to take over the coaching roles of all the teams that are going. We're going to talk over that apparently the All Blacks are so nervous about it being a draw that they're already practicing their place kicks. Eddie Jones saying that the All Blacks are under pressure and they know it. And the referees who are refereeing the semi-finals in this year's World Cup. But before all of that, we are going to go over and review the weekend's matches.
We are. And our first game is England-Australia.
We both picked this, that England would win.
We did.
Although you had a little comical moment where you said that the Australians would win, and then you quickly reverted back.
Well, Australia didn't turn up to the match, so it was just England versus England.
I think they did turn up.
They turned up for like the first 20 minutes.
No,
20 minutes, they were fine. And
they played really well, didn't they?
Oh, they did. They just couldn't score. English defence, fantastic.
English defence was, I would go on to say, it is the best defence I've seen in this competition so far, especially when they made breaks.
You haven't watched many games then, mate.
No, mate. But when they made a break, England just seemed to be back there.
Yeah.
And normally, you know, when they make a break, and sometimes they were making quite big breaks, and there was no space from the next ruck ball, which was really, really interesting to see. England comfortably winners. I think it was 40 points to 16. They got within 1 point. And it was interesting to see that England did not panic.
No.
Which I was thoroughly disappointed about. And I was also disappointed to see Farrell got every kick as well.
He played really well.
He did play well. And
he's peaked. He's peaked too early.
Let's hope so. But let's go through some of the things that we spoke about. We've got here, it was good to see Australia never give up.
Yeah, true.
One thing that was very interesting in this game was the lack of penalties for England. They literally gave away 2 penalties.
Yeah, was it 2 penalties the whole game?
It was either 2 or 3 in the whole game. That's
it was
massive.
2 at like 60 minutes, wasn't it?
It's quite amazing, isn't it?
And their first one was at like the first scrum.
Yeah, it wasn't it? First scrum of the day.
I know.
And he got done. Sinclair got done, didn't he? And he didn't look very happy.
It was a bit harsh.
Actually, he was shouting at the touch official.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he might be in trouble, but
he should have got a red card, really.
Yeah, that would have been great. I thought Farrell was exceptional.
Dynamite,
After me slagging him off, saying I didn't like him as a player, I didn't think he was a 10. Go back to fullback, but then you're not fast enough. So, get the oranges on the sideline. And he was absolutely amazing. I've never seen him play as well as that. He took the ball to the line. He got the ball out to his 13s, 14s, 11s and 15s. And they scored some beautiful tries.
Yeah, they did.
It worries me, mate, because up next, we're playing them. And people are not giving them much of a shout.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Oh, you're like, you're never going to beat the All Blacks. I'm like, wow, how can you say that? England look really good.
They do, don't they?
And they've got a great bench.
They've got depth. And they're a bit like the All Blacks at the moment. If a sub comes on, it doesn't weaken the team at all.
No, it actually makes their team just different.
I know.
Which is going back to how the All Blacks were in 2015. Yeah. Another thing that we both noticed this was no mouth guards.
No
for
mouth
Sinclair
guards.
and Tuolangi.
Well, I'm sure there's quite a few others, but
I mean, maybe they've got really good dental plans.
Maybe they're dentures or their mouth guards a teeth.
They've got so much money that their mouth guards look like teeth. I have to say,
I was surprised.
Professional rugby players.
Way to set a good example, England. Gosh.
So, I mean, I can't really talk more highly of how England played in that match. And actually, I thought Australia, apart from their tactics, and Chicka's now gone, their tactics were shocking.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm going, I would love to coach those boys because they've got some talent.
Hey? Loads of talent. But he got it wrong.
Oh, I massively got it wrong, mate. Chipping the ball over from your own. I mean, it reminded me.
But is that his tactic, or is that sort of there's a bit of space by the players, and then England shutting it down straight away?
I think what's amazing is he even went into the game basically saying his tactics, which was to run it from anywhere. Just run it, lads. Run it, lads. And although
time and a place,
I really like that as a basic tactic.
Yeah.
But what you've also got to understand is you've got to understand that when you go ahead, or when you have a good start, you got to build that pressure.
Yeah.
And they it was just like a release valve opening every time that Australia got to go forward. They let them off the hook.
Yeah.
1 point away from.
I know.
And they let them up straight off the hook.
Because if they had scored then, it could have been a different outcome.
Oh, very, very different outcome, mate. Very different outcome. Because Australia's.
If Australia went 6 points ahead,
England. That's impressive that England did not panic.
No.
They did not panic at all. I would say, and I'm going to bang this in here now, I'm going to say referee, okay?
Yeah.
Don't like him. Don't like him at all. And I tell you the reason why I don't like him. Great example was Australia score a try.
Yeah.
They go and review it.
Yeah.
Can you just check those passes? The TMO checks the passes and say they're not clearly forward. So I'm going to say try. And Jerome Garces, whatever. Jerome. Oh, no, clear forward pass. And I just think, why? Why do that? It's almost like
I would like to know what the referee actually said. Can you bring that up on the big screen? Or did he say, can you check for a forward pass?
He did. I think he said, can you just check those last two passes? But the rules are once you go up top, it has to be a clear and obvious forward pass.
Well, obviously the ref on the field.
Ground thought that they were clear and obvious. But to me, looking at home, don't get me wrong, I do think they were just forward. But we're talking about just forward. And I just think they weren't going to win. They weren't going to win, though.
If you're a metre offside or your big toenails offside, we don't mind, We don't mind. So how about we just leave it there?
Very, very true. Next game we're going to look at is obviously New Zealand versus Ireland.
Now this game, mate, we were absolutely shivering in our boots, weren't we?
I was definitely quaking, mate. I was quaking in my boots. I really was. Don't get me wrong. I always felt New Zealand should win, but Ireland coulda, shoulda, would have put out a better performance any other day of the week.
Well, yeah, again, they didn't really turn up, did they? Do you know what the turning point of the game was?
I would say the turning point of the game was the last 5 minutes of the first half when they had an opportunity to go and score, and then they didn't. New Zealand kept them out, and that was it. I just knew once we got into half-time, 21 points ahead. Happy days, mate.
Turning point of the game for me is when Richie Mo'unga kept that ball in. That would have pinned us back on our 5 metre line, and they probably would have rumbled over.
That's why we pay you the big bucks, mate, because that is great. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And then did Bridgie do another one later as well? Another one that they pinned. I don't think you were absolutely right. Richie Mo'unga's one was the turning point.
I probably wasn't there for the.
You were working, weren't you?
Yeah.
There were two of them, and it killed them. But that first one, Richie Mo'unga, that was the turning point.
And they probably would have scored from that. They might have rumbled over, scored a try, and probably kicked it too because they're annoyingly good again. Yeah. Northern Hemisphere.
Everyone's really good at kicking apart from us. Again, that's a worry though, isn't it? You think about the kickers for the ABs, Richie Mo'unga, he got the easier ones. He struggled with the tougher ones. Owen Farrell got every single kick.
It didn't look like missing either.
No, unlike please miss on Saturday. Lots. I do think our probably, if I was England looking to have tactics about how to beat New Zealand, I'd always say that they give you a chance of a kickoff. If they've scored 3 or 5 or 7 points, they will give you a chance off the kickoff. They seem just to switch off. I thought New Zealand had a great first half. I think Sean Fitzpatrick said it was the best half he's seen the All Blacks play in 4 years since the last World Cup.
Really?
And then he went on at the end of the game, so it's the best game he's seen them play since the World Cup. That's high praise.
That's huge. Huge. Have we peaked too early?
Let's just hope we've both peaked too early and we can just sneak a win on. I don't think we've peaked too. I don't think England have peaked too early.
No, I agree.
Eddie Jones is saying that they haven't seen the best of England. I think they have. I think we have seen the best of England.
Yeah.
I think England played.
They really had to turn up, and they did, though, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I don't think they made any mistakes, really noticeable mistakes.
No.
Unlike they have in the past.
Yeah.
And I think they brought Ford on. I'm a big fan of Ford. You're a big fan of Ford. But I have to give it to them. He came off the bench and changed the game.
Yeah.
And that was important at the time. Yellow card Todd.
Now, tough one.
I just can't see this being a yellow card, especially when they go up and they check it. And it's pretty clear that Todd falls over someone, gets off balance, and then gets pushed into the post.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Don't get me wrong. I think if you look at it in match, you could see why you could mistake in it, but not a mistake for me. Very, very simple. So I thought it was really tough. You know, I said 8 cards, didn't I? I said 8 cards. I didn't get anywhere near 8, but I think...
How many was it? 1?
I think, no. There was a sending off, 2 yellows.
Yes.
A sin bin in the same game, so we're up to 3 yellows. We had 4 yellows, and then I don't think there was any more. So I was there.
So you were wrong.
I had a shocker, really, but still interesting. We'll talk about the red card
we will,
a bit later.
Todd, he's going to miss the next game as well, isn't he?
Yeah, shoulder.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, I don't really think it's a massive loss for us.
No.
But he is steady, isn't he? He's steady. So, if Kane went off early, that's where you need a Todd.
Yeah.
And we're obviously not going to have that.
No.
But I think we'll do okay. I thought the All Blacks really applied a lot of pressure. And Ireland were just thoroughly disappointing.
Yeah.
Thoroughly disappointing.
I was expecting a much harder test. Now, is that not good for us?
Well, England have been in the same boat, mate. They had their last game in the pool rounds.
I'm going to sneeze.
You're going to go for it.
It's gone. It's gone.
England had the same thing. They had their last pool game cancelled like we did.
Yeah, true.
They've then gone in and had an easier.
And whooped, yeah.
That is a good question. How good were the All Blacks and how good were England compared to how bad Australia and Ireland were?
Yeah.
Or were they just really good? And they didn't... I mean, I did feel that New Zealand were so good they didn't allow Ireland to get a foothold in the game.
And that was the thing, their best chance was that kick into the corner, but Rich Mo'unga stubbed it out, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was probably their best chance.
Yeah. And without that, going to half-time, they really didn't have much to play with for in the second half. And New Zealand, was nice to see them build on that.
Yeah.
Next game up, mate, is Wales versus France.
Now, the red card in this game.
Oh, it's all the difference, wasn't it? It was all the difference.
The thing is that it was they line out, rolling maul, on Welsh 5 metre line.
Yeah, like this
didn't need to do it.
This would win them the game as well. They'd be pushed right out. It would have been 26 points to 10 at the time. I mean, really, it was a shocking decision, as in for him to do that.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Even the penalty was stupid. But then to get a red card was absolutely ridiculous.
Just didn't need to happen.
Now, we both spoke about France turning up. Do you feel they did turn up?
They started with a hiss and a roar, didn't they?
Oh, I think that's the best I've seen the French play for a very, very long time.
Even with a man down.
They still played well. That man down cost them the game without a shadow of a doubt. But they still could have won. They still could have won going in with 3-4 minutes to go.
If the kicker had got 2 easy kicks on over, You know,
Yeah. I mean, looking...
I was disappointed. I would have liked to have seen France win.
Oh, yeah. I would have loved to see France win. You can't knock the Welsh. The Welsh won, and we've spoken about this before. When you know how to win, you can win. I thought,
and that was the difference as well, wasn't it?
Looking to the future, though, you got Fakatawa, you've got Pino, and you've got Intermac, and they were exciting in this game. And if they can keep that together, the question is the French are very proud to be French, and they always go for a French coach. They desperately need a non-French coach to coach them. I don't really think the players would like anyone else. Maybe that's more of the issue.
I don't know.
But if they can get themselves,
there are loads of non-French coaches in the
top 14.
Yeah,
so maybe they're used to it. But they've got a great team. They've got a really nice team, eh? Wow. Wales won because they don't know how to lose, which is worrying for anyone that's going to go and play them.
Nah, they'll be right.
If New Zealand play them in the final, I don't think the Welsh mentally never beating the All Blacks before will be able to get over that.
Have Wales never beaten us?
I don't think they've ever beaten us, no. Wow.
Oh,
that must hurt them, eh?
But then, we're looking too far forward at the moment, so we'll speak about it.
Massively. I mean, if England go, they know they can beat England.
Yes,
they know they can beat South Africa, but it's one.
Do they?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Let's say we make the final and we play South Africa. We could lose South Africa quite easily.
Yeah,
we could lose to Wales quite easily. We can definitely lose.
It's anyone's game now, isn't it?
But what I would say is I don't think South Africa are as strong as people are saying. And I think that Wales will beat them on Saturday. I think they'll beat them on Saturday. Which then brings us to our last match of the weekend, which was the Brave Blossoms versus South Africa.
Now, we both said it, didn't we? We both said it. They played their best match against Scotland.
Do you know what I watched last night?
What did you watch last night?
I watched.
I don't want to know.
I watched the Miracle of Brighton.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, the movie about the Japanese team. It was it's not an amazing movie from the point of view of it doesn't have the best actors.
Right.
It doesn't have the best action scenes. It's more of a documentary with a movie kind of stitched in, but it was just so interesting, and it did show how brave the Japanese are and how dedicated the Japanese are. They did play their best game the week before, and it was going to be really, really difficult for them to get up. What I would say is they were brave. They were really, really brave.
They did throw everything at it, but they had nothing left.
I think they just could not get the go forward that they needed to impose their game plan on South Africa. Because I think if they had got a bit more go forward, and that might have been a bit more energy in the legs, they could have upset South Africa because they gave them a good run for their money. And it was more kicks and just nipping out that scoreline that sort of that won the game for South Africa. It wasn't sort of they didn't blitz them, did they?
No, they didn't. You're right.
Japan did have their chances, but they just couldn't get that go forward ball.
Awful defence.
Now Tamora,
we like him.
We love Tamora, but does he have chocolate shoulders?
Tell you what, who scored? Mapapi or someone like that in the corner.
It was good though. It was a good try.
It was a good try, but he shouldn't have scored it.
He was offside. Did you see? He was like 3 meters offside, and he just did not look like he could tackle.
No.
And the funny thing is, they haven't really had that issue in this World Cup, but they really did isolate him.
Yeah.
And
that was obviously their game plan.
Well, definitely. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because he's a shocker, isn't he? I mean, absolutely fantastic player. Definitely someone that I've been so impressed with, kicking, the way he runs the game, but his tackling left a lot to be desired. South Africa, a lot of handling errors though. A lot of handling errors in the game, and that they could have been further ahead.
That's sort of been the trend for them this World Cup though, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people are not happy with Wayne Barnes. A lot of people not happy with how he refed.
Really?
Yeah, he made a few questionable calls, and he didn't use the TMO a couple of times. And if he had have used the TMO, then things would have been a bit clearer. It seemed like he was refereeing in the favour of the Japanese, is what the South African supporters are saying. I didn't necessarily feel. I didn't
really see it.
Yeah, I didn't really see it, but I think when you're not really looking for it, and I didn't. I had to be fair. We were going to work the back end of this game, so I did miss the last 15 minutes of it. But it was a fair way for South Africa to win, and it was a fair way for Japan to go out with their heads still raised pretty high. So those are the games, mate, on the weekend. What was your favourite?
The New Zealand game, obviously.
It was nice to watch, wasn't it?
It was.
Fingers crossed we can go there. Next week's games. Who are you picking for next week's games, Tobes?
Oh, gosh. Next week's games. So I've, on my little prediction on my cellular
You're
phone,
doing quite well, aren't you?
Yeah, well, no,
you were doing quite well.
Yeah, I was doing well, but not anymore. I've picked New Zealand to win.
Oh, by how many?
By 16.
New Zealand to win by 16.
Yeah.
Okay, as a Kiwi, I'm saying New Zealand to win.
Yeah.
If I was betting money on it, I'd say England to win by 5. I reckon it's going to go down to last kick of the game. And I'm in London watching this game.
Are you in London?
Yeah, in a pub full of English people. I'm going to wear my New Zealand top.
Are you really?
I'm going to have my flag over my shoulders, and I'm playing because I'm
Are you going to be in London?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be able to watch it with you. Oh, who am I going to stress out with?
Just come to London, mate, with me. It's going to be awful.
So I'm going to have to watch it by myself?
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to do that. Big Nath is going to come to your rescue, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. It'll be too early for me. I'll be in bed. Really?
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm training, because if we lose, right, I'm already in the moment of the fact that this is what it's going to be like for the next 4 years.
Oh, man.
We can't lose this. But I'm going to say...
You put money on it?
I'd put money on it.
Do you know what I've done? I've put £2 on them to win.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tight... I mean, yes, you are right. I do think there is a possibility that New Zealand could win by a larger amount, like 16 points.
Yeah.
And I don't think England are going to beat us by 16 points.
Yeah.
But I just feel it's going to come down to a couple of key moments in the game. It might be a yellow card. Now, Nigel Owens, we're going to talk about this, is refereeing, which is great. But it could come down to a referee's decision. It could come down to, someone going high on a player and the game being...
And I think New Zealand are more likely to do
that. Definitely more likely. So I'm going to say England.
Is this the final?
I think
is the All Blacks England the final?
I think these are the two best teams.
I mean, ranked 1 and 2 in the world, firstly,
and
but they're playing at the moment the most attractive rugby.
I agree. I think South Africa arguably have played good rugby, but they've been beaten by New Zealand.
Yes.
So that's the reason. I think we'll know more after the weekend. But as it currently stands, I think England and New Zealand are the two best teams in the world. And if it wasn't for England having a bit of a dodgy Six Nations, you arguably would have said that for quite a while going into this tournament. Who do you think is going to win out of the Wales-South Africa match?
South Africa.
By how many?
I haven't put it in yet. But I think they'll win. I think they'll win by 12.
Wow. I'm not sure whether Wales have got the bench.
No,
They've had lots of tight matches.
I think it'll be tight for about an hour.
And then
an hour and a bit. And then I think, when the Welsh teams start to get a bit tired, maybe their subs start to come on, it'll change the game a bit more. They'll start South Africa will start finding more gaps. I think South Africa's forwards will become more dominant as well because they are huge men, aren't they?
Navidi is out as well. He's not going to play on the weekend.
Yes, he is. Yeah, that's right.
South Africa, I think I'm going to say Wales.
Okay.
I'm going to say Wales by a small margin. I'm going to say Wales by 5.
Okay.
I just feel that Wales do have more game breakers
Right.
than South Africa. Apart from Colby, that back line isn't really firing on all cylinders for South Africa. Whereas the Welsh back line, every game I've seen them play, where they've put out their stronger team,
Yeah.
they've always found space. So, big match. Next up is the news, and then we're going over to listeners' questions, Tobes. And there's some great listeners' questions today.
Okay. Now, Damo, the news. Since I'm such a tech whiz, I did see a picture of
On the
Jaco
Facebook?
Piper on the Facebook, yeah, of Jaco Piper, and he was imitating the red card
How did you feel about it?
with some Welsh
Support.
fans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez,
And the Welsh fans were loving it.
I
weren't
know.
they?
What an idiot!
I do feel a little bit sorry for him
Why?
because the refs, it was the right call.
Oh, right,
It
cool,
wasn't a
but
controversial
no,
call.
red card, 100%. But why did he have to do that?
I don't know. I just think, rugby's a game where,
It's a
we
respectful game.
we can all share a laugh. We can all share
But
a
it's
beer
a
after
respectful game.
Yeah, it is.
I think it was
Yeah.
just too far.
And no, it was. I mean, I really like Jaco Piper.
Yeah, so
and
do
I really
I.
don't want Jerome going, he's anywhere near the...
He's not going to be anywhere near the final.
He is. He is tipped to be the referee in the final. Why?
No.
Yes, he is.
That's a load of tripe.
No, it's not.
World Rugby, what are you doing?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Nigel Owens, right, wasn't supposed to be refereeing the semi-final.
Oh, he's done really well.
Jaco Piper, they're not happy with for the picture.
No.
Wayne Barnes, they're not happy with because of his display.
Who's
on
doing the other
Saturday.
semi?
Jerome Gunsons.
Oh, right. So it this is their final then, isn't it?
I just really
The
hope
referee's
I hope
final.
Nigel has a blinder.
Yeah.
Wales lose
Yes.
because he can't do it if Wales are in the final. The French are out. Right. This is not looking good. I just hope we do not have him. Do you know what? I would rather us play Wales in the final
Okay.
and Nigel Owens to referee that match than I would for us to have Jerome in the final. Because I really, he's just every game, he just penalises stuff for the sake.
He's a Northern Hemisphere referee.
And he's a very good Northern Hemisphere referee.
He is.
But just not for me.
No.
But the match officials, we've got Nigel Owens, and as we've mentioned, Jerome. I'm really pleased we've got Nigel Owens.
Yes.
I think he's the best referee in the world, without question.
Others might think differently. Give us your views
Absolutely.
and why.
But obviously we've got the teams against them. We've got Eddie Jones already starting to,
He's
spin
playing mind games, though.
mind games, saying the All Blacks are under pressure. They know it. He doesn't feel that he's under any pressure because they're expected to lose. I doubt that he's going and saying that to his team. In fact, I know for a fact, since he's taken over, he's not spoken about anything other than when we're in the World Cup final, when we lift the William Wembass trophy. So he's expecting to win.
Yeah.
The pressure must be coming on them.
That's why he's retaliating.
And the New Zealanders are used to the pressure. They worked out some time ago that they have to surround themselves in pressure so that they get used to having the pressure on them.
But they're also, the New Zealand public put a lot of pressure on the All Blacks.
It means a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Means a lot. It means a lot more than it does to maybe other people in other countries.
Yeah, true.
There's a story that came out, the All Blacks were having kicking practice.
Yeah.
I think that's Steve Hansen doing exactly the other thing to Eddie Jones.
Eddie?
Yeah. I'm sure they are doing some kicking practice, but I don't think they're taking that seriously.
No.
They might have a plan of who would take the kicks.
Yeah, but they haven't.
But I don't think they'd even anywhere near.
So where do the kicks come from? Are they on the 22? On the 22 straight out in
Mate,
front?
honestly, I think that's where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you reckon?
There's 5.
Do you reckon you could do that? Do you reckon you could kick it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, off you go.
I mean, right in front. I mean, don't the nerves and the pressure.
Yeah.
But it's not a difficult kick, is it?
It's not a difficult kick.
I'm going to look into it, mate, and in next week's podcast,
Because
we'll
there's
go into
only
more detail.
only one has ever happened, And that was in Europe.
It wasn't a drop kick.
No.
Or was it off
It was
the
off
tee,
the
was
tee.
it? I saw it.
Nick Evans.
I saw it,
It
yeah.
was- yeah?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah, you're pretty
Leicester,
much English.
Leicester versus, was it Cardiff?
Dunno.
Yeah, it was Cardiff and the gingerhead flanker.
He missed it, didn't he?
He missed it.
He hooked it left.
He hooked it, yeah, and that killed them. Ben Blair kicked his, mate. Ben
And
Blair.
Nick Evans.
And Nick Evans.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, I can't remember who else.
No.
Yeah. Next question is, who will be the next Oz coach? Michael Chicka has resigned.
Okay.
Who do you think it's going to be? I've put down Dave Rennie, and you've got to now look and say Jamie Joseph.
Is Jamie Joseph leaving Japan?
No, but it's a massive gig, isn't it? So you can just see how that might happen. He would
Is there
be
no other?
enticed.
Is there no other
There's no one really.
Australian?
There's no one really in the running. There are a couple of other names that have been bounced around,
What's
but
his name?
no one with any great. Everyone's talking about-
Latham. Is it Latham?
Yeah, no, I
What's his name?
yeah,
Stephen Larkham.
Larkham. Yeah,
Yeah.
Larkham. I
Who's
think
he doing at the moment? Is he doing the?
He was assistant coach, wasn't he? And then
okay.
he fell out of favour. I would say Dave Rennie's definitely number one.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely number one. He'd be great as well. And
Tony Brown?
And watch out. I think Tony Brown and Jamie Joseph, I reckon they might be now in the mix for the AB's coach.
Oh, both of them.
Yeah, like as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a team.
Wow.
And actually, I really rate.
And I love his
Brown.
hat.
Love his hat.
Village J.
Love
So
his hat.
good.
I would say Dave Rennie, number one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I think what's going to happen is that depending on whether they stick a caretaker
Yeah.
coach in, and I think it was Razzle Dazzler mentioned this.
Oh yeah.
He said they might wait until the AB's coaching has been decided,
And then offer
and
someone
then offer
else.
someone else that doesn't get that job.
I mean, fair enough. But
Yeah, I mean you've got to get the right person for the job.
yeah.
Non-Australian coaching Australians could be interesting again. We've had that with
Yeah, Robbie
Robbie
Deans.
Deans. He did a good job, but he fell out of favour,
Yeah.
or with the players really. They didn't like him because he was a Kiwi.
Kiwi bro.
In last week's podcast, you spoke about players that divide opinion. You did not mention Quade Cooper.
I did think of Quade
And
Cooper.
this is coming from James Ryan from Tokyo.
Oh,
He must be over there for the rugby.
why is he listening to us then?
Mate, we've got 31% of our listeners on our World Cup rugby channel are coming from Japan.
Really?
Yes. It's
So our
amazing.
listeners are there. Send us over. Give me a ticket.
So what are your thoughts on Quade Cooper?
Oh, yep. I totally agree. I was going to say Quade Cooper, but I said Cipriani, I think, as well.
Yes, you did say Cipriani, yeah.
I think Quade Cooper is very, very similar to Cipriani.
Yeah, fallen out of favour with the coach.
Yes.
I mean, it was
Still a
quite-
very good player.
Did you see what Quade Cooper said about Chicka?
No. What did he say?
He went, if you really cared, this was after he sort of gave in his notice, resigned. He said, if you really cared about Australian rugby, you would have left earlier.
Oh,
It's
my
quite a
gosh.
cutting tweet that went out from good old
Jeez
Quade.
Louise.
I reckon he's a great player,
Yes,
but
so do I.
I can't deny I really thought he was going to make the Oz team this year, but then he had a shocker towards the back end of the season.
He didn't have a very good Super Rugby season, full stop, I don't think.
No, I think he started really, really
Yeah,
well.
but as soon as the Reds... No, who does he play for?
He plays for the Melbourne Rebels.
Yes, as soon as the Rebels started on the decline, so did he.
I think...
He couldn't keep his gameplay.
No, he's not as lethal as he used to be, and I think teams very
That's
quickly
also,
worked
he's getting
out.
older though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Quade and Guinea, you stop them getting that quick ball, then they don't really have a lot to work with, and that's probably the reason why. So we're big fans of Quade, but we can understand why he's not. And that's like Cipriani. You're great one bring up. They've fallen out of favour with the coaching staff. A player that fell out of favour with the coaching staff, but it's back in, is Marler, and he's another one who people...
Marler's a thug. He's a bit like Sinclair, thugs.
Do you reckon
Football
he
hooligans.
wears a mouth guard?
No,
Nala.
God, no.
I reckon he eats it, hey? I reckon he starts the game and he starts chewing it and it's gone before he knows it.
Gosh, he's amazing.
He's a funny guy, though.
Is he?
He's a funny guy, yeah. The next question is top coaching roles. So this question has come from... Oh, this this question has come from Michael Chicka, Tokyo / Australia.
Good day, Michael.
I think some of our listeners have a laugh. They've said, obviously, there's lots of coaching roles that have come out. There are a number that haven't been filled. Who do we think they're going to go to? So the ABs, they're obviously looking.
Yeah.
I've put down here Jamie Joseph, Dave Rennie, I think could be involved in that.
Yep.
Scott Robinson or
Yeah.
Or Ian Forster. The only one I feel really strongly about there is Ian Forster. I just don't think should get it.
I don't think he will.
People are saying if they win the World Cup, Ian Forster will get it. If they don't win the World Cup, they'll look for some change.
I reckon they need to go young.
Go young?
I reckon Scott Robinson.
Go
would be a
Scotty
good
Robinson?
shout, yeah.
You can't deny, though,
Dave
Jamie
Rennie.
Joseph, Tony Brown have done a great job with those Japanese boys. And the way that they played that style of rugby
the
would
style
suit
of,
New Zealand
definitely.
as well, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Would really suit New Zealand.
England?
England will steady Eddie.
He's going to stay on, isn't he?
He apparently, I'm not sure whether he'll want to stay on. His contract is till 2022.
Oh, okay, so 2 years.
So 2 years after. I'm not sure whether he would want to stay on and then hand over for the next World Cup cycle.
He'll either want to cut it through now or
Go right through.
And
And I don't think he would be a very popular choice. He's a guy you put in short term
to do a job.
Potentially,
And he's done the job.
He might do that job, yeah. Has he done the job if they don't make the final? If they don't make the final, mind you, it's an easy one to say, isn't it? Oh, we lost the All Blacks, they're a great team. But I don't think he's done the job until he wins the World Cup, mate. That's the job he got employed to do.
Yeah.
Australia, we've already spoken
about that, yeah.
Ireland, Andy Farrell's taken over. What do you think of that?
I don't know much about Irish rugby, to be fair.
I think it's a really bizarre choice to make.
Because he's in there at the moment, isn't he?
Defence coach.
Is he defence coach?
Moment, yeah.
Yeah, the defence was really good against us. Not.
No. And I just think that don't get me wrong, I think he's a good coach. He's done good things everywhere he's been. But to give him the top job when I haven't seen him doing the top job anywhere else.
New England coach?
Andy Farrell. Nah, mate.
You reckon?
Nah, that England shoot real high. Real high. They don't. I mean,
how high? Who's high?
I'm trying to say England,
Jamie Joseph.
England would only choose a big name.
Jamie Joseph.
Oh, don't
for
go
England.
There. Don't go there. Wales Wayne Pivac. I mean, what's that?
I don't even know who that is.
No, mate. I think he's a Kiwi. Another Kiwi at the helm.
Is he really?
Yeah. South Africa, Rassie Erasmus.
I like him.
He apparently was only doing it short term. So he was never supposed to go on after the end of this World Cup. So that'll be interesting. I
think they'll renew it.
Oh, they need to.
Yeah.
He's done a great job there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And Fabien Galte for the French. He's taking over.
He sounds French.
He is very French. I don't even know what that accent was. So there's a lot of change, though, isn't there? There's probably more change in the coaching than there are some.
Who's going to coach Japan?
Well, no, he's not. He hasn't left yet, mate.
Who? Jamie Joseph?
He's not leaving yet. I think his contract keeps on going.
Oh, right.
But if he got a big job somewhere else, I think he'd take it. So very, very interesting.
Or would he take it?
You'd hope he'd take it, eh?
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to...
He's done a great job with the Japan,
He's been there 4 years, though. He's taken them maybe as far as they can be taken.
Has he been there 4 years?
Yeah, he's been there since.
Did he take over?
From Steady Eddie.
Oh.
He took over from Steady Eddie, mate, yeah.
Wow.
Mate, that's the end of the potty for another week.
Oh, I'm going to miss your face.
I'm not going to miss yours. Now, we have to let people know, anyone that's listening to the Rugby World Cup podcast, you need to be aware that we do a separate podcast that is the Super Rugby podcast. And if you like rugby, you need to watch Super Rugby.
Well, it's the same podcast, but just different name.
Correct. But what they won't realise is they haven't listened to us over last season. They won't know how to get their hands on it. So if you go to any podcast provider that you can shake a stick at and type in Super Rugby podcast, we're first on the list.
We are first.
We are. I don't know how that happened.
I do, mate. No competition.
No competition.
Not yet anyway.
And if you'd like any questions answered, we always love your questions. You can give us an email on superrugbypodcast@gmail.com, on the Twitter.
At Super Rugby Pod.
Correct. And on the Facebook.
Super Rugby Podcast.
Fantastic. But please.
Or is it the Super Rugby?
Makes a huge difference to us if you go and write a good review.
But it makes a huge difference to us when we actually get an email in.
Absolutely. We love it.
It's fantastic hearing from you guys.
We love it.
It's nice.
And we will be starting back up our voice questions again.
Oh, yes. We've missed those.
And next week, we are going to do the quiz.
I'm away next week.
No.
Yeah, I'm in Holland, remember?
Oh,
we have to do it by phone.
We'll do it by phone.
Good.
The quiz by phone. But anyway, it's been a pleasure being in your ears.
It's been great.
Again for another week. And we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
See you soon.
You're going to press the button again?
Oh, which one?
Number one, mate.
Is it number one? Oh.
Yeah.
See you later, guys and gals.